So thank you everyone for being here. It's our meetup number 74 for the Fabric Power BI Portugal community. So I don't know if we have here some people from the first time assisting to the sessions. If so, welcome. We are the community of Power BI Portugal. You have here our contacts, our email, and also feel free to join our WhatsApp group if you want to receive our news, and also to share some things with the community, to post some questions. So it's a very active community that you are free to join. Today we have here with us Brian Bonk from Denmark. So Brian is working already with data from a lot of years, with a lot of experience. He's an MVP data platform. And today he will present us something related to the real-time hub service that exists in the Fabric. So as we know, the world is changing a lot. The world of data is changing also. So more and more our organizations are demanding us real-time analytics and real-time insights. So that's why we are here today to present you this session. I will pass the word to Brian to present himself and do the introduction, and then you can start. We'll be here from the entire time. Any questions that may arise, you can post on the chat, and we can save some time in the end to answer to them. Okay. So Brian, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Let's see if I can start by sharing my screen. This should be it.
Yes, it's working.
Perfect. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me. I have really been looking forward to this, even though I'm not physically traveling from Denmark to Portugal, even though the weather here in Denmark is raining and windy, so it could be nice to get some sun. But it's fine. We're here. We are virtual, and it's also more flexible, so quite fine. A few words about me. I'm Brian. I love data, and I also ride a motorcycle in my spare time. That gives me my mental groundness to ground myself and just relax. And as you said, Susana, I am a Microsoft MVP on the data platform. I'm also one of the few left of the fast track recognized solution architects from Microsoft, and I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer. I would love to connect on LinkedIn if you have questions after this session. My LinkedIn address is right there. When we talk about real-time intelligence in Microsoft Fabric, you also need to learn the Kusto language. The Kusto language is shortened to KQL, as in SQL, just KQL. I've written a reference guide for the KQL language. You can find that also here on kql.how. I'm blogging a lot about real-time intelligence on decode.bi. And if you want the slides after this session, you can go ahead on the GitHub after this session and find them. I'll upload them within a few hours after this session, so you can find them in a PDF format on my GitHub account. Without further ado, if you have any questions, write them in the chat. I love to take questions while I'm speaking, so just go ahead, write your questions, interrupt me at the worst possible time. That's quite fine, because then I'll answer your questions when you have them in top of your mind. So just go ahead, ask the questions, and I'll answer them as quickly as I can. So let's get started. First of all, I would like to introduce you to what is streaming data and what is streaming data inside Fabric, inside Microsoft Fabric, because we need to understand what kind of data sphere are we working with. A second part, an introduction to the real-time hub, just a high level with a few slides. Trust me, I don't have a lot of slides with me today because it will be a lot of hands-on. And after that, of course, a demonstration, and hopefully that will fly as high as this one does normally. So let's dive into what is streaming data inside Microsoft Fabric. First of all, on our left-hand side, streaming data is sources from where data emits continuously. So you might have Confluent Kafka, you might have Google PubSub, you might have some Amazon streaming data, you might have a SQL server with the change data capture on it. Perhaps you have a Cosmos DB, you have Kafka, you have Fabric, and perhaps you have just a normal storage account inside Microsoft Fabric. Those services can emit data continuously. When we're speaking about emitting data continuously, think of it as your phone. your phone is also streaming data out to a server somewhere in the world continuously. What are you doing? Are you lifting it up? Has the screen been turned on? Is it now off? What are you doing? What are you clicking? The same thing happens when you click on your Windows machine. If you have a Windows machine, of course. When you open Word, when you open Teams, when you chat on Teams, a message is sent, not your message that you're sending on Teams, that is of course also sent, but a telemetry, a log event is also sent to a Microsoft server somewhere in the world. That is streaming data. It can also be such a simple thing as a thermometer, a digital thermometer that always streams data out to a network, and you can just open your phone and see what's the temperature in the living room. That's also streaming data. This is just a few examples. You might have more in your space. Streaming data Microsoft Fabric, I've only brought in 9 icons here. We have a lot more of connectivity. I'll show you that in just a minute when we dive into the actual real-time hub inside Fabric on how much we can actually connect to. On the right-hand side, we would like to process that data. We would like to analyze it. We would like to monitor it. We can monitor it live, and we would like to act on it. The process is being handled by event stream inside Microsoft Fabric. The analyze is actually being handled by the underlying event house in Microsoft Fabric. It's proprietary database built by Microsoft, and it is a database that ensures an always connectivity on the data being streamed in, and you can always query it live when you need to. I have other blog posts on my blog where I speak about how fast we can actually process data in the event house. And if you stumble upon it, you'll see that I can process data between bronze, silver, and gold within 20 milliseconds or less when you do it right. The monitoring is I like to call it the second visualization tool for Microsoft, even though it is not a second, it's just an add-on. It's called the real-time dashboards. It's free of charge. You don't need a Power BI license. You only need to pay for the KQL database consumption underneath the hood, which is driven by the event house. Last but not least, we can act on it. We can set up rules, we can set up activators, we can set up things that react to the data when it arrives. And then when that threshold is broken or is in other way activated, then you can get a mail, you can get a Teams message, you can start another process, you can start Power Automate, all that kind of stuff can happen inside the Real-Time Hub directly. So all of this is connected in the Real-Time Hub. And of course, no slide from Microsoft without mentioning AI, because we can also add AI to all of this. We can have a live AI scoring against the machine learning model when the data arrives. We can get the result of that data from the machine learning model, and then we can act on that data instead of acting on the real data coming in. Raw data. So what can we actually connect to when talking about the Fabric Real-Time Hub? I've grouped this in 3. We can connect to streams. We can connect to we can create streams, and we can connect to sources, and we can subscribe to sources. I have examples here. First of all, the data streams is divided into all data streams. These are the data streams that are perhaps not generated by you, but you have access to them. And then you have the My Data Streams, which are the ones you have created or you are the owner of. Because recently, a couple of months ago, we could move the ownership of, we could change the ownership of a specific item to another user. So it does not anymore have to be you who created it, but the ownership was handed over to you as the owner of this item. So My Data Streams is actually the items that you own, that you are the owner of. I'll show you the ownership in just a few seconds. We can connect to a lot of sources. I just add a plus here because all those sources will be listed when we dive into the actual connectivity inside the Real-Time Hub. We can also connect to things outside of Microsoft in Azure, and those things are automatically filtered based on your access. So if you don't have access to a specific item, to a specific service inside Fabric, you can't, inside Azure, you can't connect to that one. You will only get listed what you have access to in your Azure tenant. Last but not least, we can subscribe to events happening. We can subscribe to events happening inside Fabric, what's happening on the workspace level, what's happening on capacity level, and so on and so forth. We can also subscribe to what's happening on an Azure storage account. So when people drops a new file in a storage account, when the file is deleted, renamed, when the storage tier is being changed, and so forth and so forth. Also around folders, we can connect and subscribe to those signals coming out, and then we can react to them. Whenever a file is being dropped in the Azure storage account, we can now process that data starting a pipeline or notebook inside Fabric. So without further ado, this is the second to last slide. Let's jump over to Fabric and see it live in action for the next 45 minutes or so. And again, if you have any questions during this demo, just go ahead and ask them, and I'll happily show you try to answer your questions as best as possible. Right here, I have cheated a bit because I've already opened Microsoft Fabric. I have opened Microsoft Fabric in the area right here called Real Time. This is the Real Time Hub, but due to marketing and the way that the left menu needs to look, they only have a place in the width of the menu to write the Real Time. But this is the Real Time Hub. The Real Time Hub is divided into two sections. On the left-hand side, we have things that I can connect to or subscribe to, and on the right-hand side, we have all the details. When I begin to open my Real Time Hub, I just get an overview of all the items I have access to or I'm the owner of. Speaking of owner, you will see here that this is the owner column. I am the only user on this tenant, but if you were on your own tenant and you created something, then you would be the owner. Oh, sorry. Then you would be the owner of that item. If you were also granted access to that item, you would see the owner being someone else, but you still have access to it. So this is the owner part. I can also see the item type. I can see that this is based on the icon. This is an event stream, and this is a KQL database. So this resides in a KQL database. And I can also see the workspaces. All of this is residing inside the same workspace. And I can also see a workspace named Sandbox, where I have two other items. Speaking of items, if they were endorsed or they had any sensitivity labels, I would see them to the right here. Endorsement can be confidential and something, and I can also see the sensitivity labels if there are any attached to this data set or to this data stream, then that sensitivity label will be displayed here. To the right, I can see the name. The name is just an arbitrary name to whatever name the creator or the owner has given it at creation time. The names are both names of event stream, and it is also, if I can find my mouse is gone. It's there, sorry. It is also names of objects. This is a table orders, and it resides in this database called TPCH, sorry. And this table down here, bicycle, is residing in the database called Event House. I'll dive into why this is called Event House in just a few seconds. When you can't find an item, you can always search for it. You can always search for, let's see if I can find the part. Then I'll get the tables of part and part suppliers. I can also begin to search for event stream. Then I'm also searching for the event streams that are happening inside my tenant, a Fabric tenant. That's just a free text. I can also search in dropdowns for streams and tables. And when we go along further in this demo, you will see other items popping up here. I can search for the owner. If I know the owner, that's just me. I can also search for the item. What kind of item am I actually looking for? And I can also begin to search for specific workspaces. Give me all the workspaces in the demo workspace. Well, there's nothing here, but that's quite fine. But if I go into the sandbox, I'll see the two items that I just showed you there. So if I just click this one, go away, please. Now it won't go away. I found a bug. I found a bug in Fabric. Yay! Well, normally I would be able to unclick this. So let me just refresh, and hopefully I'll get back to the default setup. There you go. That was the introduction to the Real Time Hub. What am I actually seeing? On the left-hand side, I have these two other menus. I have connect to and I have subscribe to. These were the ones I just showed you on the slides. So the connect to, I can connect to new data sources. This is the list, not the complete list, but this is the list of the data sources I can connect to directly just with a few clicks with the mouse. I can connect to Apache Kafka. I can connect to Google Cloud PubSub. I can connect to MQTT. I can connect to MySQLDB. I can connect to Postgres. Real-time weather, it's a built-in data set where you can pull in the real-time weather. It's currently in preview, but I think the weather is not preview. It's just what it is. So just go ahead and use it. It could be funny to see how much energy am I using in my house based on the weather conditions. That could be a comparison. If you have the thermometers in your house, you can stream that out, and then you can add the real-time weather, and then you have the correlation, and you can begin to work with, hey, can I predict what kind of energy consumption I have in my house tomorrow based on the weather forecast for tomorrow? That's up to you. That was just a... Then I also have these small, this one, these small ones with the packager on it. These are sample data sets that I can connect to. If I don't have any data sources in my current setup, then I can always connect to these. This is the stock market. I also have Yellow Taxi. And if you saw above, I also have access to bicycle rentals. And there's one more bus. Where is it? It's not here, but there are more sample scenarios, one for buses and one for some more stock market. There are 2 stock market data sets. So whatever you have in your data state, you with a, I don't know, 80% accurate, sorry, and with an 80% odds, you will have a connector where you can connect to using the built-in connections. If you want this filtered out, then you can click on Microsoft Sources, you can click on Databases, Change Data Capture. One thing to know is when you connect to a database Change Data Capture, the CDC here stands for Change Data Capture. You need to ensure that the Change Data Capture is enabled on the database, because the connection will just work fine, even though the CDC is not enabled, but you won't get any data. So if you connect to an Azure SQL DB and you don't get any data, please check the Azure SQL DB if the CDC has been enabled. If not, then enable it, and you will see the streaming data begin to roll in on your streaming. I can also connect to Azure events. Right now, we have Azure Blob Storage events. I'll get back to that in just a minute. Fabric events, I'll also get back to those. And sample scenarios, it only shows 3, but there are more, and I'll show you them in just a minute. Of course, I can also connect to Azure sources. I told you that if you have access to any Azure source that is streaming enabled or streaming possible to stream data out of, then I can see them. But I can only see the ones I have access to inside Azure. So I have access to a SQL database. I have access to this SQL database called the Decode. And of course, the master is just a part of any database in Azure, so I can connect to that one also. But this database is not CDC enabled. Even though it shows up here, if I would connect to it, then I won't get any data because the CDC has not been enabled on this database yet. So please make sure that you enable your CDC on the databases if you want to stream your data in from there. Next up is the things that I can subscribe to. First of all, let's talk about the Fabric events. Here I can subscribe to job events. So whenever a job is started, finished, succeeded, failed, something happened, I can pick that signal up and then I can react to it. So if a job fails, I can get a mail. If a job fails, I can get a Teams message. I can also listen to OneLake events when people drop a file in the OneLake for reading, when people when a system or process is renaming it or changing it or moving it, updating it, something, I can react to that. But last but not least, I can also react to workspace item events. So whenever people are creating items, when they are trying to read an item they don't have access to, when they are creating a workspace, no, not a workspace, but because this is workspace bound, but I can listen to events happening inside the workspace. What is happening, who is doing what, and slowly but steady, if I'm subscribing to all of these events, I can begin to build a governance overview of who is doing what inside my workspace. Do we have the right adoption in our organization on people using Fabric the right way, all that kind of stuff. The sky is the limit here. Last but not least, Azure Blob Storage event. As in OneLake, I can subscribe to whatever is happening inside the storage account. Just hang on. There you go. Sorry. Whatever is happening inside the Azure Blob Storage event, I can get that signal out as if it was in the one leg. So file dropped, file created, file renamed, all that kind of stuff. I can subscribe to those signals, and then I can pick that file up if I want to, and process it whenever I need to. So let's go back to the Real-Time Hub and see what I can actually do here, because this was just the quick introduction, and let's see what I can actually do. So at the top here, you will see that I have two event streams. I have an event stream called Demo Event Stream, and I have an event stream called Monitoring Event Stream. The Monitoring Event Stream is a part of the Workspace Monitoring. In the Workspace Monitoring, in the Real-Time Demo, my workspace named Real-Time Demo, this one. I've enabled workspace monitoring, so I have now a live view on what's happening inside my workspace. So that's why I have the monitoring event stream. But the demo event stream is an event stream I built. So let's see what we can do here. I can preview the data. I can also open the event stream, and I can do other stuff. I can also endorse it, so it could be, I can set this to none, or promoted, certified, and all those kind of stuff. But if I just click it, then you will see that I have at the top, you will let me zoom in just a tiny bit. At the top, you will see the name of the event stream. You will see that it is residing inside the workspace called Real-Time Demo. You can see I'm the owner, and it's a stream. If we go down a little further, right down here, you will see that this is the parent. This is the thing doing the data processing for me. I'll open this in just a minute, so you'll see what I mean. And then this is the upstream data. So this is the data source. This is what I'm connecting to. This is the data I'm reading. And this is the downstream. This is where data ends up. So I'm reading data from the sample stock data. This is a sample, one of the green gifts you saw on the overview. And it is now landing in a database called TPCH. On the right-hand side, you would see if this were processing data. I just started this again, so it doesn't have any processing data. But whenever the messages would begin to come in, you would see this chart going up and down based on the data coming in. I can now open this event stream. Now we get deep into what's happening inside this event stream. Directly from the Real-Time Hub, I can open the event streams being built. And this is the event stream. If I enable this, activate it, it just takes a second. Then you will see on the left-hand side, I have, this is my source. This is my source, my sample stock data. This is one of the gifts, the gift sample data sets that I can subscribe to. In the middle, I have the event stream processor. This is processing my data. I can add other things here. Let me show you that in just a minute. And last but not least, I'm saving this in an event house in the workspace called Real-Time Demo. Why won't this activate? Continue, please. It typically takes a few minutes because the activation of a sample dataset means that my Fabric workspace or this streaming event is actually going out and pinging the event grid, sending the data to me, and then I'm trying to accept it. So it should be streaming. If I'm clicking refresh, it should be streaming in just a few seconds. It will eventually. I don't know why. It's the demo ghost again, but no worries. I can just create this again, and then you will see this work just fine. Let me create this event stream just for you. This is just an event stream as it was any other event stream. The event stream inside Real-Time Hub. Let me show. Let's call this Portugal and create it. The event stream behind the scenes is actually creating an event hub. It is creating an event grid, and it is creating an Azure Streaming Analytics job for me. Directly here, I can connect to a data source if I have one. This you will recognize all the sources as I just showed you on the Real-Time Hub. This is the same list. But when we use the sample dataset, you will see that I have more now. I have bicycles, yellow taxi, stock market, buses, and more stock markets. So more than 3, I now have 5. So let's use the bicycles dataset, and let's sample, oops. Let's give this a name, sample bicycles. There you go. Add that one. Now I have the sample bicycles, and at the bottom you will see that I have a snapshot of what is actually already being streamed inside my event stream. This is data. This is demo data still, but it's still data coming in as we speak. As I just did this is data coming in. In the middle is just the thing handling all your data streams. And to the right, you have your transformations, or you have whatever you want to do. You can either add a destination. So I can add a destination to a custom, to a custom endpoint. To a custom endpoint. A custom endpoint is just sending data to an API. I can save it in the lakehouse directly in Fabric. I can save it in Event House. I can create another stream based on this. If I'm getting data and I'm filtering that data in 2 blocks or something, then I can expose one of those filtered data streams to my end users, and then they can pick that stream up and begin to work with it as if it was an event stream for itself. And of course, I can send it over to Activator to begin to react on this data whenever I need to. I can also transform the events. If I zoom in just a tiny bit here, you will see that I can filter the data, I can manage the fields, then I can change the data types, I can change the names, I can aggregate it, and I can join with other data sets. I can also do group by, unions, and expand. Expand is mostly, but not solemnly, but it's mostly used to expand JSON objects. So if you have a JSON objects, a complex JSON objects, then you can expand that JSON object into columns, so you don't have that arbitrary data structure floating around. It's quite simple. You just add it here, and then I could add a filter. I just need to see the data. I could add filter for bytepoint 64. Oops. Bytepoint 64. Copy, just for the fun of it. Setup is required. Let's set this one up. Filter on this one. Oh, it can't have a space. It's fine. Select field. Let's take bytepoint ID. It must equal this one. Save. Now you get an error, and that's quite fine because a filter cannot handle itself unless it has a destination. So let's add a destination. Let's add a stream. And this stream is just called bytepoint 64. Save. Now I have a stream that people can connect to, and they will only get data from bytepoint 64. I can also, if I zoom out just a tiny bit, I can also add new things here. I can save everything I have in an event hub. It is right here. Then wherever I connect this building block, if I'm connecting it here, then I'm getting all the data from the incoming data set. Or I could connect it to my filtered data set, and then I'm only getting the bytepoint 64. But for this, I will just get everything. And I need to set this up. I need to put it as direct ingestion. The destination name is just an arbitrary name. It could be bicycles data demo. The workspace is the real-time demo. This is where I am. The event house is just this one. It's just a name because I'm also doing some TPCH benchmarking on the event house. And the database is this one. Let me talk a few seconds about these two, direct ingestion or event processing before ingestion. Direct ingestion is actually a pull from the database. A pull where the databases pull data from the event stream. The event stream just keeps the data, and then the database asks, hey, give me data, and then it pulls the data. Event processing before ingestion is a method where the event stream pushes the data to the database. And this is the default whenever you have done some filtering, aggregating, joining, so forth on your data, then you can only select the event processing before ingestion. So based on your needs, you can either have a pull or a push of the data to your database. This is now selecting a pull. So if I select push, then I also get the option to add a destination table. Let us just add bicycles demo data as a table. Done and save. If you just go away from your browser now or go back or refresh, then all of this will be gone. So please remember to click the publish button, the green button in the top right corner. And then the topology is being pushed, and you will see the flow is being organized so it's more human readable. And within a few seconds, you will see that this will begin to be green and say streaming. While this is streaming, let me go back to my real-time hub and see if I can find this bike point 64. It is right here. This is now a substream of this stream. So this was the main stream. We just built the bicycles, and this is the substream. So if I click the preview data, you will see that whenever the data is coming in, come on, it's loading. No events found yet. But eventually, when data begins to flow and the event stream begins to send data, you will see that I only get data from bike point 64. This is still provisioning, so let's go back and see about the big stream without the filtering, and we should be able, if the provisioning has been done, we should be able to begin to see data coming in. I can filter this based on the time span I want to see the data coming in of. If this has been running for quite a while, then I can always select 7 days and see the data coming in. It hasn't been provisioned just yet, but it will eventually. So I also showed you that I was sending data to the database, and this excuse me. Sorry for that. The database did not have that table's bicycle demo data created, and I can't see it here right now. This is because the event stream is still provisioning, trying to create that table. So if I refresh, I should see the new table. Not yet. So let's go into the workspace of the real-time demo and open the database. This is the one, the KQL database, and see if we can find the table there. There you go. This is the bicycle demo data, and we have data. Right now, I'm in the event house. I'm in the database built for streaming data, built for time series data. It is highly capable of accepting whatever data sets you send to it. It can contain both structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data. Not documents and pictures, but that's another story. Everything is indexed based on the ingestion time, and every date and time columns in that dataset is also indexed. It's based on a column store index. So every row is being translated into columns, and then it is being stored in that way. To the left of the database, I can see all the tables in this database. If I had any shortcuts, materialized views, functions, data streams, I could see those. If I'm unfolding the data streams, you will actually now be able to see, hey, I have the demo event stream streaming data to my database. And when the event stream is being finished, all is being provisioned, I will also see the Portugal event stream I just created. Well, this is the data coming in. In the top, you will see this is the overview of the table I selected, the bicycle demo data, and you will see that I've just ingested 116 rows. These rows, I get a snapshot of them at the bottom, and if I select the schema insights, by default, I can see that I have 121 unique bike point IDs, I have 119 streets, I have 19 neighborhoods, number of bikes, number of empty dogs, I have a Minimax and all those kind of stuff. So I get a small insights of what is this data being what is this data consisting of in a structure. To the right, I need to zoom in just a tiny bit. Sorry. This one shows you the original data size and the compressed data size. Right now, we don't have that much data. So eventually, when this data is being large enough, you will see that the compressed size is way smaller than the original size. Let me go into a table where I have some big data right there. You will see here. This is compressed to a factor of 50%. So this is the original size, 2 gigabytes of data from the source. And when it is being loaded into the event stream, into the event house, it is being compressed. It is being translated into a column store index, a column store storage, and then it is being it's only fills up 1 gigabyte. And this 1 gigabyte of data is what you're actually paying for on the 1 leg storage. Speaking of 1 leg, the story from Microsoft is that everything is stored in one lake. But you need to read the entire sentence because everything is stored in one lake except event stream by default. Sorry, event house by default. Because by default, all the data from the event house is being stored in the proprietary database called the Custo Engine inside Fabric. If you want that data to be available in one lake for other systems, other processes to be used, you need to enable the one lake availability. You can do it either on a table level. This is on a table level. If I switch this button, then this data will begin to be copied out to one lake. I can also do this on the database level. Then I can enable the thing here, and then I can enable it, and then I can apply it to existing tables if I have tables already here and I want them to be copied out to one lake now, or I can just say only for future tables. Then I can uncheck this one, and then it would only be for future tables. So the bicycle demo data, we have 230 rows right now. And if you go into the query preview, you will see this. So let me go back to we should be able to see if I just refresh this one. Should be able to see the streams coming in. Not yet. Okay, quite fine. Let's go back and see if we can find that was the bike point ID. Oh, there you go. Now we got it. The bicycles demo data table is now ready for us to use. I think it was provisioned just as I switched to the database. So directly from here, I can begin to explore the data. I can open the KQL database, or I can create a real-time dashboard directly from this bicycle demo data. If I'm exploring the data, you will see that I get a quick results of the top 10 things here. So if I want 100, I can just say cannot edit. Okay, I can't do that. So let me add that one, remove it. So now I get all 272 rows. So we are streaming data in live as we speak. I can also go back to the KQL part of it, and this is where I can begin to write KQL. But this is not yet. Come on, I should be able to edit this one. I can't. Okay, but I can add a filter here. I can add a filter, and then I can select the bike point ID should equal to, let me see if I still have it, bike point 64, apply. And then I can go back to the results, and you will see that I only have bike point 64 in my data set showed. And then I can begin to add on future filters and aggregations. If you want to learn the Custo query language, this is actually a good way to do it, because in a visual way, I can just begin to do filtering. I can do OR conditions, I can do AND conditions, all that kind of stuff. And I can also do aggregations. And when you are done building your data set, you're going to hover your things that you're doing, and then you will see that I have now the KQL preview. This is the statement where bike point ID equals bike point 64. This is a filter. And I can also see the entire KQL right here. This hasn't been updated for some reason. So now I'm back. Okay, there's a bug in this, and that's quite fine. I also have the possibility directly from this preview of data to build charts. I can build a bar chart. Let me just quickly build the bar charts, and oh yeah, sure. That is not working because I now have too much data for this to be visualized directly in my browser. The reason why I'm seeing this is that the browser is actually doing the visualization for you. It is not the backend engine. The browser is being told, hey, get this data, visualize it in such a way. And if you see here, then the maximum recommended number of rows is 100, and I have 240. Oops. So let's see if I can do that. But I can also bypass it. So now I have all my data sets, and I have it in a number of something. You can see here by street, I have number of bikes and number of empty dogs by this street, Cadogan Gardens. So it is visualizing things for me. Directly from my visualization, let me just put in a stat. This is the number of rows. I can add this to a dashboard. I can create a new dashboard. And a dashboard is what I told you, the second visualization tool from Microsoft. I don't need a license. I'm only paying for the consumption the KQL database underneath the hood does for me. So let me name this dashboard Portugal, and the tile name could just be count. Oops. Count. Sorry for that one. And open the dashboard configuration. I couldn't do that. Oh, yet another bug. That's quite fine because I can do that in another way. Let me go back and back. And let me open the database once more and the demo data set. And whenever you have a database, you also have a built-in query set. A query set is just a placeholder for text for queries that you can execute. This is some of it. This is quite advanced. So let me just build a new one where, let me zoom in just a tiny bit so you can see what's happening here. So the bicycles demo data, if I only want where bike point ID equals, this was the one we just did, then you will see, and I have 3 rows. Perhaps I want to build a visual based out of this. Then I can add a visual. This visual should be a bar chart. Then I can see the bike point ID. I have 24 bikes and I have 2 empty dogs. I can now pin this to a dashboard. If I just select there, into dashboard, as a new dashboard name. Portugal, tile name was, let me just put in bike point ID 64. Great. And there you go. I now have a visual in my real-time dashboard that shows me the number, the bike point ID 664 as a stat of number of bikes and number of empty dogs. The other way around, sorry. And then I can begin to alter this. If I go into editing mode, then I can edit this query, and now I'm back in the query mode I just was before when I created this tile. If you notice in the top here, you will see that I have some built-in filtering called time range, start time and end time. I can actually use those. So I can also say here where. Oh, sorry, I don't have any date types here, so I can't show you those, but I can show you something else. I can actually, oops, sorry, yeah, parameters. I can build my own parameter. So I have built-in parameters for time range. I can add a new one saying this could be bike points. I would spell bike points. Single selection. No, I actually want a data source. And I want this one, and the values should be, come on, show on all tables, description, that's quite fine. This one, values should be that one, and default value should be, no, I don't want it to be a data type. I want it to be single selection. Oh, there you go, sorry, my bad. Sorry for that one. The variable name is now, let's call it bike points. I stumbled upon there. Data type is string, shown on all pages, that's quite fine, but I want it to be a query. The query is based on the database. So, and I can now edit the query. So I want the, oops, on the bicycle demo data, and I want a distinct of bike point ID. Right. This gives me all the bike point IDs as a list, and then I can use that as the drop-down list. The value column is the bike point ID. The label column is still the bike point ID. Do we want to select all value? Yes, please. And then I can just copy this one out. Copy. And I'll show you that in just a minute. The default value is select all. Done. Now I've created a parameter, and I can use that throughout my dashboard. And close this one. So instead of the bike point ID being hard-coded, I can actually just paste the, oh, I need to remove that one also. Get squishy line. I just copied the query that I got from creating the parameter, and I just need to change this small one here, bike point ID. So now this is filtering based on the parameter I just created, bike points, and if the bike points is empty, it just selects all of them. And if it's not empty, then it only selects the one I chose. So let's apply those changes and see what happens. You see the maximum recommended. Again, that's quite fine. So let's see what if I'm selecting bike point 395, then I get bike point 395. I can also select 250. I get bike point 250. Perhaps I should change this just to bike point details. There you go. Apply changes. So now the tile is called bike point details, and I can filter based on the parameters I just created. Quite hefty, and I don't need a Power BI license to do this. I can just create this, and then I'm only paying for the consumption I'm using out of the data out of the database. So let's go back to the. If you can't find the real-time hub, as I can't right now, to the left, it is hidden on the 3-dot menu on the overflow. Then I can select the real-time. Oops. Yes, I would like to save my dashboard. There's no auto-save on dashboards yet. And then I can go back to my real-time database. There you go. Now I'm back in the real-time hub. And if we just quickly go into the Fabric events, I can now show you how to actually begin to listen to what is happening inside my jobs when Fabric is running. Because to the right-hand side, you will see the schemas. I can see when a job is created, when the status is changed, when it's considered, and when it's failed. So I can actually begin to listen to all of these directly with clicking the create event stream, and then I have selected all 4 types. So that's quite fine. By item, and the item is, I don't know, this one. And let me rename this one to job events demo. So I need that. I can delete it afterwards. And next. And commit. Now the event stream is being created for me, and the connection to the jobs is also being is also being created for me. And within a few seconds, I will have an event stream where I can begin to work with the data again. I can stream it to an event house, and I can begin to work with it as usual. I can open the event stream. Now I have the event stream. This is the source. No job is running right now, so I don't get any data. And then once again, I can, oops, go away. I can add things here as I would any other event stream quite easily. Whenever, if you have people creating activator items, so if you want to listen to job events, so if something is going haywire and I want every item job failed, I want to listen to those. I also have a green button called name set alert. Set alert on the, let me just remove these ones. So on item job failed by item, that's fine. In the workspace on if it works in a job in real-time demo fails, if this job fails, then do something. Let's save this one. Now on each event, I can send an email to myself. I can send a message to myself in Teams, or I can run a Fabric item. If I select to run a Fabric item, then I can say, hey, for every job that fails, run, if I have an item here, I don't, run this pipeline. And save it in real-time demo. So now I've created an alert for every job that fails in my workspace. If a job fails, I run this pipeline. This pipeline might do something with that information. If the job fails, it might send me an email. It might also start another project. It might save it to a SharePoint, so I have an overview of all my failed jobs for the business to see, hey, this job failed tonight. Data in this specific business area is not updated tonight. You will wait a few hours, then we are working on it. Something. I think you get it. And then the item, I need to create a new item. This is now creating an activator item, and this is all jobs failed item and created. I have a few minutes left. I still have 8 minutes left, and I think we have a short time just to show you the details around activator. If this wants to execute, please.
Yeah, don't worry, we are still on time.
Sure, thank you. Now okay, I've created hundreds of these, so that's quite fine. I don't need to tour. as I don't have any jobs running, and so I don't have any failed jobs. But now I'm in the details of this activator item. Activator is so powerful, so I don't have time to run through all the details today, because you can actually also build a state machine, a state overview. But you will see now that to the left, I have the generate synthetic events alert. This is the alert for the notebook called generate synthetic events. If that fails, then this will absorb that signal, and then I can begin to work with it. To the right hand side, you will see that I can now edit the action to be more detailed. I can email something. I can email myself. I can also add other people. I can change the subject. I can change the headline. I can add a message, and I can add some content. And this is the preview of what you would see if I sent myself a mail. I think I'll also get a preview on the Teams message, if I'm not mistaken. It's more or less the same, but just for the fun of it, let's see the preview. Please, there you go. This is just the card that you'll get in Teams that, hey, activate alert, generate synthetic events alert, happened, go fix, go do something. In the advanced settings, I can also say, hey, if you want to wait for something to happen, then wait 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. If an event is happening, and then wait 2 minutes unless it fixes itself. If not, then do something. I can also, if I want to, I can connect this listening whenever a job fails. I can connect this to a custom action. I can now create a Power Flow. So now we are connecting Fabric and Power Automate to actually execute a Power Automate flow if this signal executes. So if this job fails, then run Power Flow. Input labels, I don't know, and the connection string is quite fine. Copy that one, and I can now open the flow builder. Directly from Microsoft Fabric, I'm guided into Power Flow, Power Automate, and I can begin. Oh, let me zoom in just a tiny bit so you can see what's happening. And I can begin to work with my Power Automate guy. Invalid parameters, that's quite fine, because I need to paste the connection string I just created, and then I'm good to go. Now I can begin to do something with this event, whatever I need. So let me close this one because I don't need it. Leave. If I were to do something here, that's quite fine. I haven't, so not now. So if I did this Power Automate flow completely, then Data Activator would execute that flow, and then I could do everything in the world possible with Power Automate directly from Microsoft Fabric. I don't see any questions in the chat yet, so if you have any, please, we have 5 minutes left. Please ask them now, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll happily answer you afterwards. Speaking of the event house, it is quite powerful. I promised you that we have the most powerful engine in the world for handling large volumes of data. So if I go into the orders table, you will see that I have, if I go into the query set and I take the table orders and I just do accounts, I have 15 million rows. 15 million rows in a SQL server, that would be processed in what, a second or 2 seconds or something. But let's see what happens if we do a count by order key. This is the same as give me a count grouped by order key on the SQL server. I did get an exceeding because the browser is not able to handle all the rows. But look here, it executed in only 5.6 seconds. Trying to do this on SQL Server on 15 million rows would take even more. We don't have time to dive deeply into the Custo engine, but it is perhaps the most powerful engine I've seen to date, handling large volumes of data based on a time series data set. Wow, a lot of talking, a lot of me showing things. A few things didn't go quite as well, so we did see the demo ghost here once again. Today, that happens when we do live coding. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for staying on. I see we have 24 people attending. That's quite amazing. Love you. My name is Brian. I'm a data geek riding a motorcycle. If you want to reach out, do it on the LinkedIn URL right down here, or follow me on my blog on decode.bi. If you want the slides afterwards, they are quite free to use. If you want them, you can find them on my GitHub account, github.com/BrianBonk. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. It was really amazing. I don't know if we have any question, not on the chat, but if someone has some question to pose, it's the moment now.
Sure. If you are too embarrassed to write them here, you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's quite fine.
Okay. Let's just I have a question myself. When you were saying that we are ingesting the real-time data in the database, but then it's not directly integrated in one lake, you need to activate that option. So that's really needed for us if you want then to integrate with the lake houses, with data flow Gen 2, if you want to proceed and to integrate with other operations within the process, we really need to activate that option that it's not by default.
Exactly. It's not by default, and it is actually not by default because in the beginning, Microsoft enabled this by default, but then a lot of clients came back to Microsoft saying, hey, we want to control when the data is copied out to one lake. And that's quite fine. Okay. So now Microsoft has it disabled by default. You don't pay double up for the storage. You only pay the storage once. That's $23 per terabyte per month. That's nothing. But even though you copy this out to one lake, you only pay once for that storage. And notice when you, let me just handle this one. If I go the bicycle demo laser and then enable this one, then I think it's because I'm so geeky. Look at this. It was enabled today. It has a latency of 24 minutes. So it's 24 minutes since we did it, since I begin to ingest the data to this table. And directly from here, I get the I get a possibility to view the files. I don't think we have files right now because it takes a while for the frequency to begin to copy data out, because it also tries to optimize the size of the Parquet files in one lake. I can't remember the optimal file size for a Parquet file. Let's say, I don't know, 80 megabytes, something. Then it tries to make the Delta Parquet files in that optimal size, so we don't have to do vacuuming, cleaning, all that kind of stuff on the Parquet files underneath the hood in one lake afterwards. Yes, good question.
Okay, very interesting. Yes, for sure. We saw that this is a big feature, so with a lot of great things to use. Where do you see it having a biggest impact on the traditional or in the real world use cases?
The real-time hub is, of course, just an entry portal to all real-time intelligence inside Fabric. And real-time intelligence is widely used if you want to have an overview of your energy consumption, energy generation from windmills. If you are a production organization doing production stuff on a line, you assemble things on an assembly line, a car manufacturer perhaps. They also have telemetry on everything happening on that assembly line. If you are in a controlled environment and you want to control the temperatures of different sensors, perhaps you're melting iron and you want to optimize that temperature sensors, then this is doing that for you automatically. You can ingest the data and then you can put Activator on top of it, and then it can automatically tune the usage of power to melt that iron on the optimal state. Telco companies doing logging on people hanging on the waiting line for an operator. You have it on payments. That's also a trigger that also happens all the time. You have it on a car. Modern cars today, they generate data and send it off to a server somewhere in the world. Yes. Every time you drive 5 kilometers, you generate 1 gigabyte of data. It ends somewhere. All that kind of data is a possible candidate to be used inside Microsoft Fabric real-time intelligence.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very interesting to have it here. Okay. Well, we are on time. I don't think someone wants to have all other questions. Not for now, but we are recording the session, so we will share it in our YouTube channel for the ones that wants to review or didn't have the opportunity to be here with us today. And any other question that you may have, just reach us or reach directly Brian that has shared his contacts. So thank you very much, Brian. It was a very interesting session.
Thank you.
And I hope we met again in another opportunity.
I hope so too. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.